I was an atheist, and I was very far away from God. And my sister started seeking out a relationship with Jesus, and she was my best friend. But she said, hey, we need to change our lives. She had heard about the 30-day challenge. She had been listening to Family Life Radio for a while, and she said, why don't you try listening to this while we go to church and just see what happens? So we started listening to Family Life Radio here in Albuquerque. Just having that entire portion of my life being filled with the Word of God and being encouraged, it softened my heart because the Word doesn't return void. And over time I was saved, and we've been praising and serving God ever since.
Hi, Dr. Randy here again from my home today, and in less than 5 minutes, I want to share one idea with you for being intentionally at home.
Every night when we go to sleep, we need to do our part and make sure this ministry keeps going because people's lives are changed and we want it to be a blessing to others. They were saying on the radio is, God put it on your heart. Today is the day. We woke up this morning hearing about the donations and we just felt led that we've been listening for a long time and we needed to give back.
So thank you for giving and thank you for making hope possible.
Thank you for making hope possible.
Hi, my name is Evan Carlson, president of Family Life Radio. We are so glad and thankful that you have decided to take some of your busy schedule and set it aside for us tonight. Tonight is all for you. We wanted to swing on by here with this event and say thank you so very much. And we have just an exciting night tonight with music, message, and we're going to share some powerful testimonies and stories of what God is doing through your support through Family Life Radio. And so we wanted to just swing on by and say thank you so much. And man, we've got a lot to pack in. We'll get to that in just a minute. But this first portion here, this is specifically for you, our ministry champions, the ones that are taking sacrificially your support and allowing us to multiply it in a big way for this organization to be able to expand into new places through technologies and radio and digital and all of the things. And so we wanted to say thank you so very much. And we think about all of the exciting things coming up in the future for our ministry, and you'll hear some of that tonight. You're going to be able to hear some of that. But you know, before we get to that, we always also have to reflect back on some pretty amazing years in the ministry. 55 years of ministry that we are celebrating. And wow, 55 years. Yeah, I think you were probably a pretty young kid at that point, weren't you?
Did you notice how he said 55 years?
Yeah.
This is sort of the before and after picture, you know, and when I think of 55 years, Evan, how God has blessed the ministry, we go back to Warren and Shar Bolthouse, your grandparents, who are now in heaven, my in-laws, who just had a vision that said, hey, we want to use Christian radio for our community of Jackson, Michigan. And they started in the basement of their home with an hour broadcast, went to a few hours a week, eventually all day, and eventually our own radio station in Mason, Michigan. And from there now, stations around the country and online around the world. And I know that Warren and Shar, if they're that great cloud of witnesses getting a chance to look in, boy, they're going to be excited with us tonight to know that God is continuing this ministry into a third generation. And I'll tell you why that's important. One of the things that we have determined from the very beginning, 55 years ago, is that we just didn't want to be here and be gone. We wanted to see this ministry sustained. We wanted to see your support making a difference from generation to generation. Not very many organizations or ministries last 55 years, And now looking at this new generation, as Evan and his team are looking to move this ministry forward, we've got to reach people for Christ. Young families today are struggling. I mean, in our event for everyone a little bit later is going to be Family Night. We're going to talk about the importance of the family. I'm going to be sharing some thoughts about the family, because today, now more than ever, we need to keep Christ intentionally at the center of our homes. We're coming out of this COVID thing. Boy, it's been just a difficult 14 months. We're seeing it. We're seeing families that are struggling. We've seen people with mental illness that's on the rise. We see people struggling with their emotions and spiritually, and we know many churches have been struggling as well. And we just want you to know that when you supported the ministry and continue to support the ministry, that we're going to continue to use those dollars to impact people for Christ. It all began with a simple act of faith. Warren and Shar had a lot of faith, and they stepped out. And now, many years later, we don't want to lose that. We need as much faith today to take it to the next level of reaching more people in this community, reaching people around the world online, as we did 55 years ago. So for Evan and myself and our families, we just want to thank you for your support. And I know, Evan, that as you've taken the mantle of leadership as president of the ministry, your heart burns with the passion to see what your grandparents started 55 years ago continue into this next generation.
What an incredible story of legacy. Man, God has been so faithful because of your faithful giving. And so 55 years, what an incredible season, and an incredible legacy for this organization because of that. And so thank you so very much as we look ahead to the next 55 years and so many things that God's going to do through your partnership with Family Life Radio and Intentional Living. And just in a moment, we want to show you just a snapshot of some of the things that your support has allowed us to do. They're very tangible projects and initiatives that your giving has allowed us to accomplish. But yes, we're going to stop down and see that, but I also want to let you know that your giving, really, when it comes right down to it, comes right down to that individual person that is hearing hope in Jesus right now. As you think about it, we're here, we're experiencing this event. Well, as we're experiencing this event, at this very moment, someone is hearing Jesus for the very first time on Family Life Radio, and we want to say thank you for that. And you're going to hear a bunch of powerful stories tonight, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But before we do, here are some of those amazing projects that your support has made a reality.
G'day to you, it's Joel and Luke here with For King & Country, and we want to welcome the ministry champions who are here for our VIP time together. You are truly on the ground level of making this very, very important work happen. And for that, we want to let you know that you're going to be receiving our brand new deluxe edition of Burn the Ships.
Yeah, one of the tracks on the record is a song called God Only Knows. That came from a real simple beginning. I have a bit of a notepad and I'd written that phrase, God only knows, down, and it always struck me because at face value, we throw it around so flippantly, right? You know, God only knows why this sort of stuff happens, and it's usually negative. But if you really drill down into the thought that there are so many things that God does only know about us, and yet He loves us, He accepts us, sent His Son to die for us, you really have this magnificent kind of viewpoint of, man, God knows this stuff and yet still does. And on the other hand, we know so little about one another as people, and yet we're so prone and quick to judgment. And so we hope you enjoy this deluxe edition. We hope that we're able to see you very soon. But until then...
while the world is sound asleep, and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody would believe. Every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories that somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody would believe. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. You keep a cover over every single secret, so afraid if someone saw them they would leave. But somebody sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. For the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. But if we could start over, we could start over, we could start over. No, for the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over, we could start over, we could start over. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
And there you are, a very special live version of God Only Knows from the beautiful Colorado mountains.
Landscape, yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a couple questions, or a few questions from you. Number one, bit of a family quandary. Luke, you've got this one. What is something you cherished during your time growing up? I'm not finished yet. Growing up at a home with your siblings.
You know what I loved about my childhood? I loved playing sports, actually, with all my siblings when I was young. When we came to America, we were very poor, didn't have much, and so we didn't know all the American sports, and so we started playing baseball, football, basketball. That's a little bit more global, and I cherish those memories. You know, the competitions, the you know, there were maybe an occasional temper tantrums because you lost to your sibling or whatever it might be. They're just memories that I just enjoyed, getting outside and competing with your siblings.
On the other hand, I hated it because, you see, Luke's my younger brother and he got taller than me, and his hand-eye coordination is much better than mine. And so as he grew older, he was able to beat me at basically every sport except the violent ones, because I'm more violent than he is. So like football,
John's doing pretty good.
I had him down. All right. Question number 2. This is over you.
What are your parents like, and how have they encouraged you in your ministry?
Well, pretty enormously. I mean, really the whole family has. Speaking of family, Rebecca, our eldest sister, is an artist, Rebecca and James, and we kind of grew up as her road crew. Dad, who managed her and manages us, needed cheap labor, and so we became road crew. And Mum's always been kind of the spiritual glue of the family, and a little known fact that Luke and myself and our dad are actually the 3 owners of For King Country, and so they've had massive impact all the way down to For King Country existing, because Dad had the idea of Luke and I working together, and I didn't like it initially. But are
you thankful now? Do you think?
No, I am thankful.
Okay, good.
I am thankful now.
That was a question.
You know, ish. I'm only saying this because we're on camera. Question number 3.
Yeah.
How do you stay connected to God with your busy recording schedule and touring schedule?
Well, I've had a little bit of the gift of late. I'm probably late to the ballpark here, but podcasts and just putting on, you know, if I go mow the lawn, I have these headphones that can kind of block out all the noise and listen to different things. And it kind of becomes my moment of, I don't know, just solitude. Obviously, I'm still doing something, but I've started to probably pick my moments a little bit better as to when I go and work on the property. We have some acreage, and that's kind of become a little bit my time. And so, you know, when I look at the life of Jesus, there was very odd times when he would just leave. And obviously solitude and being quiet and being still was very important for him. So I'm trying to do a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes though, I feel like you have to do a bit too much to figure out what is enough.
Yeah.
And I Lord willing, with COVID and all the rest of it, I hope we're at that place. Right, question number 4.
Yes, pioneers. They like pioneers. What is one of your favorite things about your wife?
Well, so if you don't know, we Pioneers is a song on our 3rd album, and the rare opportunity of both of our wives singing on that song with us. We shot a music video in Iceland, which was really, really picturesque and beautiful. Favorite things about our wives? Well, we should both answer this, I think. My favorite thing about my wife is she, speaking of spending time, she loves just spending time together. Like, that's her happiest place on earth, is just to be together and to spend time. And so, you know, there's 1,000 things I could go on and on about her, but I feel so loved and lifted up by the fact that she loves being with me and loves spending time. That's sort of the center of the relationship. So.
Yeah, I think for me, my wife is funny and fun. You know, like, it's just when we get to be together, it's a pleasure, it's an enjoyment. You know, it's not something that it's forced. The other thing is she's kind of she holds me steady, or keeps me steady. Calls me out when I need to be called out, and loves on me when I need to be loved. And she's a wonderful wife.
Final question. Question number 5. this past year has been really tough for everyone. What is one thing you felt helped you not just survive, but as best you could thrive in 2020?
Well, I do think it was family for me. You know, I've never been home as much as what we were over the past year. And so for Courtney and I, you know, just to be able to, you know, be home and not feel like, oh, there's this project coming up or you got to go this weekend. There was a settledness of what we probably didn't live home for 3-4 months.
Yeah, it's pretty
which was
amazing.
pretty special. And, you know, the kids help I think in difficult times because they're not really aware of everything that's going on in the big world. They're just who they are. And there's a grounding that takes place with the kids that is very helpful for me. You know, there's something about, you know, you can come, read something or got some bad news and, you know, it's, could you come read me a book? And you're like, oh, well, everything that I just was worrying about doesn't really matter that much. So there was something very healing and therapeutic about just being together and having, you know, really a lot of time that we've never really had before.
Yeah, no, it was magic. I mean, literally, we've traveled. The band kind of started simultaneously to you being married, and then a few years later, me being married. And so to have that time was just phenomenal for us, and I think it changed everything, really. Hey, we want to thank you guys for being part of this time together, and we're getting ready for the main event that's going to kick off in a few minutes.
Count to 3 and say a prayer. Down for love and up for air. Underwater, overjoyed. Water for a thirsty soul. Water for a thirsty soul. Baptize me into your love. Oh, my spirit's overcome. Body, mind, and skin and bone. Love, I'm gonna make it known. Love, I'm gonna make it known. Yeah, I'm coming alive with you. I'm coming alive with you. I was living a lie till you. I'm coming alive with you. All the people say, all the people say, Resurrection day is here. Bells are ringing loud and clear. Caterpillar to a butterfly. Listen to another life. Listen to another life. Yeah, I'm coming alive with you. I'm coming alive with you. I was living a lie till you. I'm coming alive with you. All the people say, all the people say, from death to life, from dark to light. I'm seeing out tonight. You're in my blood, my veins, in every word I pray. You gave it all for me. I'll give it all for you. Oh, I'm in love with you, overwhelmed by you. And if the world is listening, this is my confession. You are my obsession. All the people say, world is sound asleep and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. And every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories, they somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. You keep a cover over every single secret, so afraid if someone saw them they would leave. But somebody sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. For the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. Oh, for the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood and the ones to blame. What if we could start over? We could start over. We could start over. Cause there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows where to find you. God only knows how to break through. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. How did we get here? What cost away on a lonely shore? I can see in your eyes, dear. It's hard to take for a moment more. We've got to burn the ships, cut the ties, send a flare into the night. Say a prayer, turn the tide.
Hey, it's Mike Hankel-Fritz from the Family Life Radio Morning Show. And on my mark, there's exactly 1 minute left until this whole thing starts. Ready? Beep!
We can dance upon the heartache, yeah. So light a match, leave the past, burn the ships, and don't you look back. step into a new day. We can rise up from the dust and walk away. We can dance upon the heartache, yeah. So light a match, leave the past, burn the ships, and don't look back. And don't look back. And don't look back.
Hey, it's Mike Kankel-Fritz from the Family Life Radio Morning Show. Thanks for joining us this evening. Got a really awesome event planned for you. Of course, Dr. Randy has an amazing message. Every time I hear from Dr. Randy, it's like I can't write enough notes. Life-changing stuff. Also, our president of the ministry, Evan Carlson's got an update of what's going on with Family Life Radio as well as intentional living. And I can't wait for King and Country. They're going to be singing for you. They're on the way. But let's get the celebration started. Here is a powerful testimony about one listener helping another diagnosed with cancer. Watch this.
Inside Out Foundation is basically a ministry that provides aesthetic products and services to our clients at no cost to them. Like sweet Irma here, we were able to help you just recently.
I've been losing my hair, you know, and I was getting real upset, real depressed.
God works in wonderful ways. This person who's in your corporate office, basically, she had just reached out to us and she had said, we just want to be a partner with you and we want to give you some free airtime just to create awareness about what you do. God used that partnership, and so the very next week, the same person reached out from corporate and said, oh my gosh, you'll never believe it. We had this segment, the Love Thy Neighbor campaign that you all were doing. And one of the callers just so happened to call in and say how her mom really needed a wig.
They called me, the radio station called me and said, yeah, you're the winner. And I was glad that they had picked me.
We welcomed them in, right? We made you feel calm. I'm sure you were a little nervous when you first came in, right? And we just got to know you a little bit and made you a little comfortable. And then before you know it, you were getting makeup and a tutorial on how to do that. And then you got a wig and you were joking with us by the end of it.
It was just so amazing what they could do and how it made me feel. And I just thank God for it.
We would not have been able to most likely meet and help Irma or someone like her if it hadn't been for the radio station helping to facilitate it. Family Life Radio is a wonderful platform to spread the word of God every single day, and they make it easy to access the word. It's a huge blessing to just simply be able to turn on the radio station and just get the word infused in your day, whether it's starting your day out or in the afternoon or at the end of your day to start your next day. It just really sets your mind for Christ-like intention.
There are a lot of people out there that are like me. Sometimes they're worse, you know, but give them a little bit of love.
It just reminds me how thankful we should be to just be able to flip on the radio and get some God-filled word whenever you want too, night or day, whenever you want. So just keep giving, keep supporting, and keep spreading the word. I mean, what could be better and more important?
Hey guys, got something really awesome I want to show you, and really, you're responsible for this. This is Studio One. This is brand new. Come on in. So this right here, this is all new equipment. This is where our producers sit. Our producer for Intentional Living, as well as the morning show, Alex sits there, and Rob is the producer for IL. They sit here and run all the controls. Let me do this. I'm not supposed to do that. Anyhow, this is amazing. This is all brand new because you have been giving to keep this all going. We got a whole new system. Now over here, this right here, this is a system that runs all of our new video for Intentional Living, as well as the morning show. And it runs all the cameras, so come on in. So this is the main studio now, Studio One. All new microphones, all new monitors, all of this. There's new cameras up here. These cameras, they run this, whenever you see anything that happens online, it's all done automated. It follows the voice. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Oh, I'm sorry. And then this is my favorite feature, of course, is the couch. We got a couch in here. Artists can come in and sit down. And but yeah, all of this is brand new because you gave and you've given, and it's quite an upgrade. I mean, we really needed a new space in here to kind of update to where we are now. So thank you so much for doing that. Really appreciate it. You guys ready for some music? Here's Joel and Luke from For King and Country.
G'day to you, Family Life Radio. It's Joel and Luke here with For King and Country. I want to say thank you so very much for your support of Family Life Radio.
Yeah, there is, I think there's 40 plus signals now, which is fantastic. I think it's not wasted on any of us that we live in the information age more than ever, in a time in human history where, because of these guys and so on, you've got visuals and music and so on just everywhere, billboards. And it's, as a result, we believe, more important to be putting hope on the airwaves, to be reaching into people's homes, onto their phones, into their cars, and offering them hope, offering them the gospel, offering them light. And Family Life Radio is doing just that. And so we are massive advocates, and we love partnering, and we continue to encourage you to reach out and to partner in a time in human history where, like I said, we believe it's this message is more necessary than ever. And so thank you once again. God bless you, and look forward to seeing you soon. Here we go.
Face to face with the younger me.
time to hear you sing along. Here we go. I'm loving like I'm not scared. Give when it's not fair. Live a life for another. Take time for a brother. Fight for the weak ones. Speak out for freedom. Find faith in the battle. Stand tall, be above it. Oh, here we go. I'll fix my everybody knows it, it takes a soldier who knows his orders to walk the walk I'm supposed to walk, and love like I'm not scared. Give when it's not fair. Live a life for another. Take time for a brother. Fight for the weak ones. Speak out for freedom. Find faith in the battle. Stand tall, be above it all. Well, we have a very a distinct pleasure for you right now. We have about little under 2 weeks ago, we released our first new song in about a year and a half, actually, since the Burn the Ships record. And it's been a song a long time in the making, very complicated, but we were actually in Canada right as COVID-19 was hitting. It was our last show, and Luke walked off the stage. We'd played the song live, but we obviously hadn't released it yet, and he said, this is the song for this time. And so we need to kind of rush this out. And so we partnered with kind of the gospel godfather, if you will, Kirk Franklin, and a friend and a wonderful vocalist, Tori Kelly, and two, not one, but two gospel choirs. Obviously, we don't have them with us today, so you're going to have to make do with just us. But this is a song about when we're separated physically, celebrating how we can and will come together. 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is for the busting hearts. This is for the question marks. This is for the outcast soul, lost control, no one knows. Sing it for the can't go back. Sing it for the broken past. Sing it for the just found out life is now upside down. If you're looking for hope tonight, raise your hand. If you feel alone and don't understand, if you're fighting in the fight of your life, then stand. We're gonna make it through this hand in hand. And if we fall, we will fall together. Together. This is for the second chance. This is for the new romance. Sing it for the loves in vain overcame. It's not too late. If you're looking for hope tonight, raise your hand. If you feel alone and don't understand, if you're fighting the fight of your life, then stand. We're gonna make it through this hand in hand. And if we fall, we will fall together. Together. And when we rise, we will rise together. Together. If you're looking for hope tonight, raise your hand. If you feel alone and don't understand, yeah. If you're fighting in the fight of your life, then stand. We're gonna make it through this hand in hand. And if we fall, we will fall together. Together. And when we rise, we will rise together. Together. Together we are dangerous. Together with our differences. Together we are bolder, braver, stronger. 2, 3, 4. Mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, telling those lies, pointing at your flaws. That isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. Oh, it might be hard to hear, but let me tell you, dear, if you could see what I could see, I know you would believe that isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. Oh. So when it's late, you had away too much to take. Don't shit tip a it in the bed. You can be brave if you say, hey, I see you dressed in white. Yes, this is what you're worth, more than all the money or the diamonds and pearls. Now this is who you are. Yeah, this is who you are. So when it's late, you're wide awake, too much to take. Don't you dare forget it in the bed. You can be brave, you may say. I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. I see a rose in bloom at the sight of you. Oh, so priceless, you're irreplaceable, unmistakable, incomparable, darling, it's beautiful. I see it all in you. Oh, so priceless. Sisters, we can start again. Give honor till the end. Love, we can start again. Oh, brothers, we can start again. Give honor till the end. Yeah, we can start again. Everybody, I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. Oh, I see a rose in bloom at the sight of you. Oh, so priceless, you're irreplaceable, unmistakable, incomparable, darling, it's beautiful. I see it all in you. Oh, so priceless, yeah. At the sight of you, I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. I see a rose in bloom, we can start again. I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. I see a rose in bloom at the sight of you. I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. Oh, so priceless. How did we get here? We cast away on a lonely shore. I can see in your eyes, dear, it's hard to take for a moment more. We've got to
Burn the ships, cut the ties, send a flare into the night. Say a prayer, turn the tide, dry your tears and wave goodbye. Step into a new day. We can rise up from the dust and walk away. We can dance upon the heartache, yeah. So light a match, leave the past, burn the ships,
and don't you look back. Don't let it arrest you. This fear of falling again. And if you need a refuge, I will be right here until the end. Always awesome.
burn the ships, cut the ties, send a flare into the night. Say a prayer, turn the tide, dry your tears and wave goodbye. Step into a new day. We can rise up from the dust and walk away. We can dance upon the heartache, yeah. So light a match, leave the past, burn the ships,
and don't you look back.
so long to shame. Walk through the sorrow, out of the fire, into tomorrow.
So flush the pills, face the fear, feel the weight disappear. We're coming clean, we're born again. Our hope will a new day. We can rise up from the dust and walk away. We can dance upon the heartache, yeah. So light a match and leave the past and burn the ships and step into a new day. We can rise up from the dust and walk away. We can dance upon the heartache, yeah. So light a match, leave the past, burn the ships, and don't you look back. And don't you look back. And don't you look back.
Hi, I was calling to tell you about my neighbor. My friend lost her mom the week before Christmas.
Oh my.
She was dealing with some rough stuff ahead anyway before that. And so she's just been really down in the dumps and dealing with so much financially and emotionally and just having a very hard time.
Sounds like it. So what is it specifically that we could do for her?
I would like to just take her out for a day of pampering and remind her how much God loves her and show her in just a very tangible way.
Yeah.
Oh, that joy. I'm Patricia, and I'm originally from Abilene, Texas, where my family was raised, and we moved to Lubbock. We have our two kids, John David and Mary Catherine, who are now married and have their own babies. We have Oliver, who's a 3-year-old, and Emily, his sister, who is a 2-year-old, and Calvin Lee is our gonna be 2-year-old in a couple of days. Well, let me just say 2020 was one of the hardest years we've ever experienced. My mother got sick and my husband got much more sick.
Really, it's been 5 years that have been a real struggle for my sister. Joe Plowman had, he had many health problems.
During this time, my mother had also gotten very sick. You understand that all of this was all happening at the same time.
My mom lived with me for about 5 years. At that point, at the beginning of the 5 years, we knew that she was beginning to have signs of Alzheimer's or dementia.
Joe actually ended up getting peritonitis and needed to be hospitalized. They decided that we needed to test him for COVID before going into the hospital. And it was that day that we found out that Joe had COVID. In the meantime, Sandra was having to do checks on Mother every 30 minutes or so just to make sure that Mother was okay, because she at this time had gotten on oxygen. She was having pneumonia. So she was checking on her. The first time she went in there, she was doing fine, and then 30 minutes later she went in there and Mother had passed away.
Like I say, as crazy as it sounds, I had her at the doctor that very Monday that she passed away at 2:30.
Joe was in the hospital, and for the first 3 nights that he was in the hospital, he was at least able to talk to us on the phone. After the 3rd day, he was no longer able to speak. Joe had taken a turn for the worse in that he was really struggling to breathe, and they had given him a blood transfusion and were trying everything they could, but that things were not looking good. I said, could I come up to the hospital? And again, they would not let me go. And so we hung up, and then it wasn't but a couple hours later that the nurse called and said that as she was making sure that Joe was comfortable, she turned around to, you know how they type stuff on the computer, and she did that and then looked back over at Joe, and that's when he had passed. It was the day that we buried my mother that my husband passed away. So I did answer the phone call, and it was Alyssa Meyer on the phone, and she says, "You're not even going to believe this, what is going on and what God is working in your life, Tricia." But we have had listeners that have donated this use of a VRBO house in Iowa, and it's on a beautiful lake. But we've also even gotten the flight to be paid for to and from. So many people have cried out to God, and I am one of those as well. And there have been some blessings come through this time, and with this trip in Iowa. I've never been to Iowa. I've never been to Chicago. There are so many places that I've never gotten to go. I'm not the only one that this radio station has helped. I've been listening a lot, even more now, because this has happened to me. I was like, gosh, look at the good things that are going on with this radio station, and thank you, God, for this group of people, these Christian men and women that have made this possible in my life.
All right, get ready. The founder and host of Intentional Living. We're going to learn how to impact our community for Christ. Here's Dr. Randy Carlson.
Thank you, Kank. Appreciate it. Don't you love Kank in the morning with Sally and Misty and the rest of the team? It's a lot of fun to listen to what they do. Tonight we've been talking about family and the importance of family. And in fact, I just did a lesson this month for Intentional Living that focuses on the topic of family as God intended. And as we were getting ready to come on with you here, I was looking out the window across the city here of Tucson and seeing some of these apartment buildings full of people. And traffic down below, people traveling everywhere today. And I often think, what's going on in the lives and hearts of people? And I would like to spend just a couple of minutes, if I can, sharing with you from a lesson I've done this month on family as God intended. There was 10 principles, and I don't want to spend all that time with you because I know it's been a busy hour, but I want to just share 3 things from this lesson. 3 things that I believe God intends for your family and for my family. And those 3 things are love, forgiveness, and protecting each other from harm. As I think of the first one of love, obviously we know love is what God's intention is. The verse that we all learned as children, for God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Love is God's intention for us, and I think we kind of intellectually know what love is, but when you see it, it's transformational. I was at the doctor's office a number of months ago, and it was a busy day, and when the waiting room is jammed and you're looking for the seat that you want to get maybe away from everyone else, there was only one chair left in the waiting room, and I sat down and almost knee to knee across from an elderly couple. And this couple sat there together, and she was holding her husband's hand, and I could see pretty quickly that something was a little different. And her husband spoke up to her and said, "Barb, are we here to see the doctor?" And she so graciously said, "Yes, we're here to see the doctor today." And I thought, well, that was very tender. And about 10 seconds later, he said it again. He asked the same question, "Barb, are we here to see the doctor?" And she so patiently said, "Yes, honey, we're here to see the doctor today." And literally within 30 seconds, he asked her again for a third time, "Barb, are we here to see the doctor?" And she so graciously said, "Yes, honey, we're here to see the doctor." And I thought, I get to see this for about 2 minutes, but she lives with it every day. And when we think of what love is patient. Isn't that the first thing we see in 1 Corinthians 13? When you see love in action like that, that's an example of what God intends for you and for me in our loving relationship within our family. Our home should be a place of love and patience and kindness. You know, those are more than emotions, those are actions. And we see in 1 Corinthians 13 all of the list of things that we can do intentionally. I talk about God's intentional love, that He loved us so much that He sent His Son for you and for me. And so the next time you see that kind of love going on, and we all see Him from time to time, don't rush past it. Slow down and let that moment sort of sink into your own heart and ask the question, is that the kind of love that we have in our family? There's a second thing I think God intends for us in our families, and it's forgiveness. And when I teach on forgiveness in my conferences, I often say that forgiveness is like a dance, because the reality is, in our families, we're going to hurt each other from time to time. We say dumb things, we say stupid things, we say hurtful things, we do hurtful things sometimes. And we need forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful part of keeping a family together. In fact, without forgiveness, well, there can't be a strong family. There can't be an intentional family. So as we think about forgiveness, maybe you need to seek forgiveness from someone today. You know, I was thinking as I was preparing for this little lesson to share with you here, about a time in my own life when I needed to seek the forgiveness of someone that I had wronged. It's not an easy thing to do. And I called this person on the phone. I said, hey, can we have lunch together? And we got together, and I just very quietly and lovingly and very directly said, you know, when I said this or when I did that, I was wrong. And I know it was hurtful, and it was very immature on my part. Will you forgive me? You know, what happens when you do that? People are willing to forgive generally, and there's a freedom. It's like you're out of bondage. You know, I tell the story in my conferences about the night when Andrea, our daughter, was about 10, and she was at the table and asking me a lot of questions, and I wasn't listening because you know how it is, sometimes daughters have a lot of questions and dad's minds are somewhere else. And she finally got frustrated and she said, Dad, you never listen to me. And she got up and she stormed down the hallway, and I was thinking, you can't talk to me like that, I'm your dad. And as she was going down the hallway, I was going to follow her down there, and I looked back over my shoulder, and my wife Donna said, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And I said, no, you know how when you work it up, Dad? And I went down there and I opened the door, and there she was on the bed, just weeping. It just broke my heart. And I literally got down on my knees next to my 10-year-old daughter at the time, and I said, Andrea, I've never been the dad of a daughter before. I grew up with all brothers in a pretty male-dominant home. And I said, I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. Will you forgive me? What does she do? She just reaches out and puts her arms around me. There's something powerful that happens in our families when we're willing to intentionally ask for forgiveness and offer forgiveness and reach out in love and reconnect with each other. So not only love and forgiveness, but there's a third one of this list of the top 10 that I wanted to share with you. It's about protecting each other from harm. Our home should be the safest place on the planet. You know, you think about it, we have fire detectors in our home to make sure we're safe, and carbon monoxide protectors to make sure our family's safe from things that we can't see, you know. But our home should also be a place where we're emotionally and spiritually safe. We need that from each other, don't we? And so as I think about safety, we need to protect each other. And I was thinking of this story when I was a little boy. I'm the youngest of 3 brothers, and my older brother, Larry, the one just older than me, he's about 5 or 6 years older than me. And one day, when I was just a little guy, I was out playing in the yard, and the neighborhood bully came out and was harassing me on the street. I had a bike with a little string with a little car on it. And he came out and stepped on that string and broke the string. And of course, I'm crying and I'm upset. And my brother, Larry, must have seen out the window what was going on. And I can still recall, he came out that door, he chased that kid down the street. And how did I feel? I felt protected, right? Here's my brother, my big brother protecting me. I kind of jokingly said that's violence with a purpose, even though nobody was seriously hurt. But it was a reminder to me that in our homes, we need to be protecting each other. You know, we can do that by allowing our kids to disagree with us or to maybe argue at times or be upset, and we don't overreact. Our spouse, sometimes when they disagree with us, we can listen to their hurts without coming up with an answer. My wife and I, we've been married a lot of years, and it's easy for me after all these years to be able to come up with an answer to her problem before she's even asked it. And of course, that's disrespectful, and it's unloving. And so as we think about being intentional in our family, that's what we're talking about tonight. Can I encourage you to think about these three? I have a list of 7 more, but these 3 I think are key. Love, forgiveness, and also protecting each other from harm. You know, that's what our ministry of Family Life Radio and Intentional Living is all about. We try to bring you the best music possible that's going to focus you on God's intentional love for you. Our staff and myself, we share verses and we share our lives with you because we love you and we know we're all in this battle together. And so tonight, as we're sort of celebrating here for this short hour together, what God is doing through the ministry of Family Life Radio and Intentional Living, I just want to say thank you for your support. Thank you for standing with us and praying for us. Because again, as I look out these windows, and you can't see them, but all the cars going down the road, maybe you can hear them, and the buildings across the street with people busy doing one thing or another. Your town's much like this. These people need to know Christ. They're living lonely lives, chasing to and fro, as the scripture says. And our message and our hope is through radio and through online technology and through what we do with video and an event like this, we offer hope, the hope in Jesus Christ. That's what intentional living is all about. And so tonight, as we continue on here in a moment, on behalf of my wife, Donna, and myself and our board of directors, hey, listen, thank you for your support. Thank you for your faithfulness. And join me in making it a habit to practice love, forgiveness, and protecting each other from harm. Can I pray for you before I turn it over to Evan, who's the president of the ministry, and he has some exciting things to share with you. But let me pray for you and for your family, because I know some of you have requests that I don't know what they are on the other side of the screen there tonight, but God does. So let me pray with you. Father, I do pray for those who are on the other side of the screen here, but we're one in you. Even though we may be miles apart, you are right here in our presence. Father, I pray that you'll touch the lives of the men and women, families, children who are listening, grandparents who are listening, as we practice what it means to have intentional love, intentional forgiveness, and intentionally protecting each other from harm. Thank you for making us a community of believers, family. That's what we are, family, Family Life Communications. And thank you for the privilege of being here this time together for this event to celebrate what you're doing in the lives of people around the world because of the support of our friends. In Jesus' name, amen. Again, thank you for your support. Evan is here, the president of the ministry. I know he has an update for us. Evan?
Hey, thanks, Dad. Wow, hasn't this event been an incredible experience? And we are just so thankful that you've decided to spend some time with us. Today, this experience is completely for you. We have assembled our music and our ministry and our message specifically to say thank you for all that you mean to our ministry. You make ministry possible. And we wanted to say thank you by providing this opportunity for you. You know, we hear from so many of our listening family across the entire network of radio stations, 10 different states that we cover through terrestrial radio, but so many more with our radio streaming technology. Over 150 countries that tune in to Family Life Radio as they listen to our stream. But one listener that I wanted to share with you, of all of the thousands that we hear, we heard from Jessie from Michigan, and she shared with us, she said, Family Life Radio, obviously from God through the ministry, has transformed her life when she needed it most. She says she doesn't listen to anything else, and she feels closer to God. Wow. That story and so many more that come into our ministry are just a way of being able to just say, you know what, your support is making that a a reality. And we wanted to say thank you for that. As we think about the future of our ministry, it is a bright future. We have so many things to look forward to. Your support is allowing us to dive even deeper into technologies as we think about developing new apps, building out new websites, content that we can get through digital technology, above and beyond, as we're even thinking about growing our radio network. And the support is allowing us to even dream and think and pray about those opportunities. And so thank you so much for those things. And we wanted to say 100% of all of the things that we're able to do and accomplish is because of your support. And so thank you for that. All right, enough from me. Let's go ahead and wrap up the evening with a little bit more music with For King and Country.
They are inside your head. You got a voice that says you won't get past this one. You won't win your freedom. It's like a constant war, and you wanna settle that score, but you're bruised and beaten, and you feel defeated. This goes out to the heaviest heart. Oh, to everyone who's sit there limit, it's not over yet, it's not over yet. And even when you think you're limit, it's not over yet, it's not over yet. Keep on fighting, out of the dark into the light, it's not over. Hope is rising, never give in, never give up, it's not over. Yeah, to wow. No games that match. Time to put it in your past. Oh, feel the winter leaving. It's redemption season. Long live the young and high. Cheers to a brand new start. Oh, I'm revived and breathing to live a life of freedom. Oh, to everyone who sit there limit, it's not over yet, it's not over yet. And even when you think you're finished, it's not over yet, it's not over yet. Keep on fighting, out of the dark into the light, it's not over. Hope is rising, never give in, never give up, it's not over. Until the kingdom comes, or until the race is won, don't you ever give up. No, no, never give up. Until the kingdom comes, yeah, or until the race is won, don't you ever give up. No, no, never give up. Bring it down, fellas, here we go. To everyone who sit there, and even when you think you're finished. Oh, to everyone who sit there, limit, it's not over yet, it's not over yet. And even when you think you're finished, it's not over yet, it's not over yet. Keep on fighting, out of the dark into the light, it's not over. Hope is rising, never give in, never give up, it's not over. Yeah, that's a wow. Yeah, that's a wow. Yeah, that's a wow. Yeah, that's a wow.
Wow, wasn't that awesome? Hey, thank you so much for watching. I mean, thanks to For King and Country for them to dedicate their time to us. Dr. Randy, what a message. I don't know about you. That story about the couple in the waiting room and it appears to be Alzheimer's, you know, are we here to see the doctor? Wow, I was crying with that one. I mean, yeah, it's a challenge to love like that. Sure hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for being a donor, for giving to keep the radio station on the air. It really is true. Without you, we wouldn't exist and we wouldn't be here. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for being a part. And I want to say it's true, you're a part of Family Life Radio.